Hello everyone, my name is Konstantin Hoffmann and I'm your host for the new SafetyWeek Preview. This video series will feature selected content on automotive safety right from the SafetyWeek conference that will take place this September. You can find all details on the conference at safetyweek.de and also on our LinkedIn profile. Make sure to subscribe to not miss any of the upcoming videos. In today's episode, we're talking about the new Euro NCAP MPDB test and the application of the THOR dummy. My first expert will be Volker Sandner from the ADAC.
Hello and good morning. My name is Volker Sandner and I'm the responsible guy at ADAC for doing the safety systems on vehicles. My second job is more or less leading the frontal impact group of Euro NCAP. So we did a good job for at least about 5 years to establish the new protocols. And in 2020, the first cars were assessed according to this new frontal impact scenario. And but today I want to see and give you also some more information about what is happening in the future. In 2018, the protocols were more or less ready. We're working with them. It's pretty good. It's good working, so no issues so far. But still, there is always space for improvement, and it's needed in several areas. So the main area is, of course, the dummy, because it was completely new for us all to use the THOR dummy for doing such tests. So that is one of our main topics. The dummy use, but also the assessment of the dummy criteria. And on the other side, which is also quite completely new, is the assessment of the barrier. So since the introduction, we're working also to improve the front structures of the car. That's not directly related to the interior, so the performance of the driver and the passenger, but also for other accident partners, and therefore also a very important point for the future. This was also something we would like to tackle with this new test procedure, but also there we will see there is the need also for certain kind of an update. For the dummy itself, I think a new tool for us all to work with, but it was very important for Euro NCAP to introduce that dummy, also to push the work on this dummy, the work with this dummy. What we are doing right now is using injury criteria, which are more or less related to experimental work we did during the last 5 years. And the next stage will be also to update this to something more injury criteria related. What we are doing right now is starting I would say it will be a long process for assessing brain injuries. When we started in 2019 with this assessment, we have seen that that brain injuries are really important to be addressed. This was not possible with the Hybrid 3 so far, but now with the THOR, we have new opportunities on this topic. But soon we have seen that there is a lot of work to do in that area. And so we decided in 2020 to have a shortcut, so a version to assess in the next year, so that we are doing something to assess brain injuries, but maybe with a criteria which is not so highly sophisticated as you might have it. But also in the future, we will then address something more related, which is then done on more or less a brain model based on an FE brain model. That will be our future task. But this will be quite a long way. So the models which are out there on the market are have more or less data in the background of sport accidents, but are not really related to accident scenarios. What we are doing right now is assessing and checking accident data with brain injuries. And this will, of course, take a lot of time. So this just started. So we're starting with the selection of accidents, typical accidents where we have issues with brain injuries. And then the next steps will be also to get a little bit deeper in that and try to draw correlations with the dummy data, maybe also to do some more crash tests to replicate these accident scenarios. And there you see, it's quite a long way, but we started this year with the accident analysis, and hopefully in later the year, I still can present something new on this topic for you. On the other side, the dummy is very sophisticated in the chest area. So it's more or less built to assess that chest area. So that's also another topic we are focused with. So the accident assessment in the chest area. So up to now, we are using just RMAX, which is for this kind of dummy, I would say the lowest possible, but also the easiest thing to assess the chest. But the dummy is, it's even possible to do something more in that area. And also there is a need to update that assessment. So we are starting also from January this year on to put some more criteria in one pot, and then we will see about the next half a year where this will lead us. So there's not just one typical new assessment criterion, there are even more. And we will see what will be the best for us to use. And of course, the best to replicate the accidents on the real road. Last topic on the THOR dummy is the certification. So also certification is updated all the time. And our new task is then to update also our technical bulletin, which was already updated by January this year. But it will get another update to have even a better alignment with the NHTSA certification procedure. So our task is really to lift up our certification process that the dummy here in Europe can also fulfill the criteria from NHTSA side. It will not be the other way around, as we are using quite tight tolerances here in Europe, but the task is really that the THOR dummy could be used here and for crashes according the NHTSA standard. That will be our task for this year on the certification. What else is going on? As mentioned before, there was also quite a new thing introduced in 2020. That was the assessment of the barrier. The barrier, the criteria for that is more or less a kind of a modifier, and it should address the aggressiveness of the vehicle front. So therefore, we are using the deceleration of the barrier, but we are also using the picture, or let me say the standard deviation, the footprint of the car on that barrier. Now we have some more examples. When we were working in our group, in the Frontal Impact Working Group on this topic, we just had cars from maybe the mid of 2015 onwards to 2017. Now we have actual new cars where maybe this idea during our development process was taken on board and also put to some cars. And to be honest, we could see some improvements. So normally electric cars would have a better possibility to have a less aggressive footprint in the front, as you are more free for the construction area of the longitudinals and cross members and so on. But also we see examples where this is not working quite well. So also very aggressive electric cars in the front. So you see there is a difference between the one and the other OEM. And so there's still room for improvement. And to make it also better, the assessment, There's also work going on inside our group here to have a kind of, let me say, a guidance where to assess or how to assess the deformation of barriers, even critical barriers, where it might not so easy to put the barrier on the bottom, do the scan, assess the scan, and that's done. That's the normal and typical way for a lot of cars, but there are also a lot of ruptures on different barriers or different behaviors of front structures where an assessment gets really, really complicated. And to have a guidance for the labs, but also for the OEMs, how to proceed to assess such a barrier, we will set up a guidance, a guideline, a small, I would say, maybe a handbook, where it's titled everything in there, how to treat a certain kind of a barrier, also the deformation of the barrier, how to press it back, what about cuts of the barrier, and. So quite a lot of stuff which needs to be assessed and explained so that OEMs and also our labs are doing the same way, and that the overall result will more or less align among all the parties who are doing that test. So these are more or less the next steps, the next important things, but also the next ideas and results we gathered together about last year's testing. But you see also there's quite a lot of future stuff which needs to be tackled, addressed in this year. And hopefully there will be a lot of progress in the next half a year. And I would be happy to present this at the next Safety Week. And maybe you attend there, and looking forward to see you there. Cheers and bye-bye. My name is Volker.
Thank you very much, Volker. Now let's hear some information out of the industry. Kissler is not only one of the manufacturers for the THOR dummy, but also a sponsor of the Safety Week. I would like to introduce Alexander Schmidt.
Hello everyone, this is Alex Schmidt from Kissler, and today I would like to talk about the THOR dummy development at Kissler. Back in 2015, we were forced with the following situation. As Kissler, we have the dummy instrumentation, the integration solution, as well as the in-dummy data acquisition system available. The only part missing for having a complete system supply was the crash test dummy. Consequently, in 2015, we formed a team here in Heidelberg to start the development and the production of the THOR 50th dummy itself. The important milestones along the way where in 2016, we already had the first prototype dummy manufactured here locally. In 2017, we had the first sled testing performed in Czech Republic. And finally, with a lot of efforts, in 2020, we managed to get onto the official supplier list of your NCAP to be included in the TBO 29 document, not only for the THOR dummy, but also for chest deflection measurement system called KeerTrack, and also the various in-dummy DAS solutions that we have in our house. In 2020, we finally opened a new building, a new production building for the THOR dummy, in which we have a so-called glass-type production, similar to what you know from like the Porsche production site. This was opened end of last year, and now all the equipment, all the machines and everything has been moved to this new facility in order to have all the manufacturing capabilities in-house. Thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward to seeing you at one of the next events.
Thank you, Alexander. And that's already it for our first episode of the Safety Week Preview about the Euro NCAP MPDB test. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel to not miss the next video. And please register for the Safety Week at safetyweek.de. See you next time.